Pisces, this is your March tarot reading. It is coming from the mountains of Java, but as you'll notice, I'm using an opening clip from Thailand. In fact, it's the Bangkok amulet market. The reason being, I'm using a Thai amulet to assist me in this month's divination. Pisces, I've got the feeling that this is something of a profound reading. You look at that middle card, Three of Wands, that's about you action planning, but action planning something very different. If you look, he's looking overseas. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going overseas, but I think it does mean that you're turning your back on some things and starting something very different, or at least considering it. The bottom right hand corner we have the King of Swords. Now, he's a very intellectual king, a clever king that has information at his fingertips. He's also a firm but fair king. So it's as though in the past you got some information that was important. Maybe a new way of thinking about things. Your current energy is that of temperance. Now I think that flows from that king. You've got some information, and as a result I think you're leading a more temperate lifestyle, turning your back perhaps on what might have been a hedonistic past even. And your future energy is that of the Five of Pentacles, which is a card of poverty, no mates. But I think that's in your mind. I think it is you approaching asceticism, if I'm being honest with you. I might have got this wrong, but remember this is all about major changes in your life. What would lead to the outcome is the Queen of Swords. So we've had a King of Swords, now a Queen, so this is powerful. It's this new information playing on how you do things, this new information leading you to do things in a different way. She is firm but fair. She is somebody who puts up barriers to others as well. What would change the outcome is the Death card, a sudden and unanticipated, unwelcome ending. I don't know if we should dwell on that though. And the outcome is the Queen of Wands. So the outcome is action. She's a queen that gets what she wants by encouraging others as well. So it's almost as though you've had some sort of a transformation, and now you're sharing this with others and trying to get them on board. What an interesting reading. Let's look at each individually. Now, the overall energy, as I've said, is that of the Three of Wands. This is you action planning. Action planning is something quite radical. You look at him, he's already considered his options, and he's now maybe not just one action plan, it might be, planning for all the options, but he's looking overseas, so it's something quite different. You don't necessarily mean you're thinking of going overseas, but I think you're thinking of major life changes, particularly because the card's in this position. And it runs throughout all the other energies, and I think that's very important. So I've got the feeling this is an incredibly profound reading for you, Pisces. And March will be an eventful month for you. In your recent past, we have the King of Swords. He's an intellectual and intelligent king, a king that has the information at his fingertips. Sort of king that people would come to for information. It could be that you've gained some information in the past, and I think that's what it is. I think you've been analysing changes going on in the world, and you're beginning to make some sense of them, which is more than I have. Yeah, I think you're beginning to see changes in the world and realising that you yourself must change. That's my candid view of it. Yeah. I think this information has encouraged you to do, and that is to lead a more temperate life, because we have the temperance card as your current energy. Now, I mean, it could mean sort of giving up alcohol, smoking, etc. But I think it's more to do with sort of seeing all sides of the arguments, taking the middle ground, being maybe a little bit less selfish, being a bit more generous towards yourself and towards others. Yeah, I mean, I think it's temperance in every sense of the word, and I think that's what you've started to do. And in the future we have the 5 Pentacles. Card of poverty, maybe of no friends. You look at it, I mean, she's walking there through adversity with what looks to be a crippled grandfather, doesn't it? But they appear to be walking in front of a chapel, and there's beautiful light coming through that stained glass window, suggesting there's always hope. Now, I'm not certain this is an objective situation. I think this is more how you feel. And I don't want it to make it sound as though asceticism is a bad thing. But I think you've taken this temperance further to asceticism, and you're being a little bit mean with yourself. Sometimes there's no harm in it, so I don't want to say it's wrong. But if you adopt that attitude, then the universe won't be able to share its bounty with you. So it could be an issue. Now, the energy that leads to the outcome is that of the Queen of Swords. It could be about you putting up boundaries, but I think it's more to do with this information, because we've had the King of Swords, and I think is you getting some information. And I think the Queen of Swords is you getting some more information. She's a firm but fair queen, and do you know, it could be boundaries. It could be that you realise that you've been manipulated, you've been fooled in the past, and you're not going to fall for these things in the future. That could be what it's about. Yes. Yeah. That you're going to from now on determine your own life, not simply follow others, which I think is a great thing. Now, what would change the outcome is the Death card. Sudden and abrupt endings, probably unwelcome endings. Was it unforeseen though? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. You look at it, there's the angel of death with a scythe cutting through the people. But again, there's always hope, you know. That Hindu man is standing up to him, the old man, and there's a Hindu temple in the background. I wonder if it's more a death of your old ideas, your old ways of doing things. Although why would that change the outcome? I'm not sure about it. I think this card above all is where we need some clarity though. The outcome I don't see as a bad outcome. It's the Queen of Wands. She's somebody of action. So remember, you were action planning before. So now you're actually doing something. And she's somebody that manages to do what she does by engaging with others. So whatever it is, this vision that you've got, you're sharing it with others. This is very interesting. Very interesting. I can see how this is a great card to have as an ending, but I can't fully see how we've got here. So we do need some clarity for sure. I'm going to seek clarity on two cards. The first card is this Five of Pentacles, the poverty card, because I feel it's in your mind. And then the second card is the Death card. What is it a death of? So taking this poverty card, first card we get is the Four of Pentacles, slightly miserly attitude, so it does suggest it's in your mind. The next card is the Star card, a rebirth, hope. Well, I did say there was hope in that. And the final card is the Hermit card, going inside yourself and looking for answers. So it does feel as though it's an attitude of mind. The second card, which is the Death card, well, the first bit is the Temperance card. So it's an end to your old life. We've had temperance before, and this is, maybe you were hedonistic. The next card is that Seven of Swords? It is a card of deception. I think you feel you've been deceived in the past, and that's why you're changing over a new life. And the final card is the Three of Wands, action planning yet again. So it is as a result of these actions that you're planning. I think you've caused this death. So although I said it was unexpected, I mean, maybe it happens at a time that's somewhat unexpected, but it's not totally unexpected. Let's look at each individually. The first card clarifying this Five of Pentacles is the Four of Pentacles. So this is a card of being a little bit miserly, a bit tight with your money. So I do think that you have adopted something of an ascetic lifestyle, and there is a danger in doing that you enjoy that and you see that as an end to itself, and this could be a bit of a warning about that. And the next card confirming it is the Star card, a card of rebirth and a card of hope. So yet again, I think I'm right that this feeling of poverty is to do with your rebirth. You've had something of a spiritual rebirth, if you like, and you're feeling somewhat alone. You're feeling like you don't have a great deal of money, but to a certain degree it's an attitude of mind. And as I said earlier, that if you embrace this poverty mindset, the universe can't help you with blessings. But there are blessings here. That's why we've got a star. Remember, we've had both the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, and I've said I think that's information coming to you. Where does that information come from? Well, we've got the Hermit card here. You've been going inside yourself looking for information. And you look at this card, I think the rendering is very telling, because, you know, he is an ascetic, isn't he? You know, he doesn't care about his clothing. He's standing on a scrap heap, just looking into that light, looking for answers, but critically turning his back on the City of London, turning his back on the material world. And I think that's what you're doing. What is this death? Well, we have another Temperance card. So you choosing this more temperate path, maybe even ascetic way to your life is the death of the old you. That's all it's about. It's the death of the old you. But I think the thing is, it's saying, and this was the point about the poverty card, that if you focus too internally on yourself, then you don't arrive at the outcome, which is sharing things with others. So I think that's the importance about it. And now we have the Seven of Swords. I mean, it could be that the information you've got is you realise you've been deceived. Deceived probably in your beliefs, deceived in the way you've lived your life until now. I certainly feel that way. But I wonder if, maybe like me also, you're realising that you've engaged in that deception yourself. And now is the time to put an end to it, hence the Death card. We all have jobs, and in each of our jobs we've contributed to part of what I see as being the major deception that's gone on in society. And I don't know, maybe you're beginning to think the same way as me. Well, I don't think we really need this final card of confirmation, but it's another Three of Wands, so it's saying this death is caused by your action planning. So you brought about the death yourself, you've brought about it. Why? Death normally would imply it's sudden and unpleasant. Well, it could be unpleasant even. Well, it could be sudden and unpleasant, If we see that the world is changing and realising we're going to have to fundamentally change, then it is sudden and unpleasant, even though we're somewhat aware of we're somewhat aware and somewhat in control of what we're doing. We might have really wanted things to carry on as they were. I think we all feel like that, don't we? Yeah. But we've all got to embrace change, and, I think you're at the leading edge of it. Pisces, like so many of us, you're aware that there are fundamental changes going on in the world, but I think you're way ahead of the game. You've gone inside yourself looking for answers, and you've realised that you have to change. And the change is going to be radical in you, and you're actually planning for this change, even though you don't totally understand the future. You have to change. And I think part of it is because you feel that you've been deceived. You feel that your very belief system has been manipulated, and that you need to change your belief system, one that's more temperate. I think there is a danger of you going overboard on asceticism, going too much inside yourself, but I believe you pull back from it. But as a result of all this information, we really see a death of the old you. In fact, you probably feel that you have partially been compliant in all that you see that is wrong in society now. And, you're resolved to turn over a new leaf. As I say, there's a danger in that being entirely internal to you. But I think you're way ahead of it. You're way ahead of it because you're going to create these changes in yourself. And in doing so, you want to pull others with you. You're going to try and share it with others. Are you a leader? And maybe you are. Maybe you are. We certainly need people like you, Pisces. And I think you do attempt to share what you see as being the way we must lead our lives in the future. By not dwelling on the past, by not being completely internal to yourself, but realising it is the death of the old you, and maybe the death of life as So many of us knew it. That doesn't mean to say that you want it, but you know you have to embrace it, Pisces. Well done. Well done.